clean energy via free public transport, just one option for cities to curb pollution. Government. The German government has no concrete plans to make public transport free of charge. The government proposal of free public transport, contained in a letter to the EU aiming at avoiding financial penalties for exceeding pollution limits, is just one suggestion for individual municipalities to improve air quality temporarily, Environment spokesperson Gabriel Hauff told journalists at a weekly government press conference. The cities put forward in the letter should test measures for clean air, Hauff said. For example, that could mean a significant rollout of electric mobility offerings, or making public transport temporarily free. The municipalities can decide for themselves what to do. Government spokesperson Stefan Seibert said it would be the incoming government's responsibility to find an agreement on how to finance the measures. The German government told the EU it is considering making public transport free of charge in polluted cities. Many initial press reports suggested the government considered permanently free public transport, with blanket coverage. Find background in the updated Clue article. German cities might test free public transport to cut pollution. Sustainable Transport Association (VCD). Government backtracking on free public transport is irresponsible. Sustainable Transport Association (VCD) backtracking on the proposal to make public transport free of charge proves the government is totally clueless and irresponsible, according to German Transport and Environmental Association Verkehrsclub Deutschland (VCD), which promotes sustainable mobility. Ambitious solutions to city pollution have been overdue for years, but the Grand Coalition fails on all accounts. VCD public transport expert Philip Kosok said in a press release. The government has let car companies get away with emissions cheating and continues to block diesel bans in city centers, and now the ministers in charge even shy away from seriously improving public transport. What a farce. Find the press release in German here. Find background in the updated Clue article. German cities might test free public transport to cut pollution. Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Free public transport, without concept, agreement to financing, opinion. Offering free public transport in inner cities to improve air quality is a proposal by disoriented federal government that lacks a concept, agreement with cities and federal states, and a proposal to finance the endeavor. Manfred Schäfer writes in an opinion piece for Frankfurter Allgemeine Zeitung. Apparently, the federal government does not care anymore where the journey leads. All that matters is that it looks like action, Schäfer says. Find the opinion piece behind paywall in German in the FAZ e-paper here. Read the Clue article. German cities might test free public transport to cut pollution. For background, Welt Online. Free public transport, Merkel is aimless. Opinion. The proposal to make public transport free of charge in polluted cities is a sign for political organ failure, and shows that Chancellor Angela Merkel does not have a plan, writes Nikolaus Doll in an opinion piece for Welt Online. You don't have to be a transport expert to guess the consequences. Doll writes, millions of additional commuters would flood into buses and trains, and more vehicles and lines would be needed. Of course, all this is possible, but it takes years, costs billions, and is not aligned along free market lines. The government has had plenty of time to think of a plan, but Berlin just thought, it'll all turn out okay. Read the opinion piece in German here. Read the Clue article. German cities might test free public transport to cut pollution. For background, German Association for Motor Trade and Repair (ZDK). Diesel crisis causes drop in used car sales. Business calls for hardware retrofitting as a result of the diesel crisis. Used car sales were down 1.9% in 2017, compared to the previous year, according to the German Association for Motor Trade and Repair (ZDK). Auto dealers are deeply unsettled, ZDK President Jürgen Karpinski said in a press release. Threatening driving bans in metropolitan areas makes used diesel cars almost unsaleable. Used diesel passenger cars stood on dealers' plots an average of 100 days, petrol cars just 80 days. Each day costs the dealer €28 per car, Karpinski said. In addition, there was a loss in value of several thousand euros per vehicle. In some cases, this situation threatens dealers' existence. ZDK says, so it's all the more important to make faster progress on a political level regarding hardware retrofitting of older diesel cars. In 2017, 68% of cars sold in Germany were used. ZDK did not provide detailed data on used car sales by fuel type. Find the press release and additional material in German here. Also read the Clue article. German cities might test free public transport to cut pollution, and find background on the diesel technologies. Impact on clean air and climate in the Clue article. Why the German diesel summit matters for climate and energy. Prognosag coalition agreement, fragmented and incoherent, on climate and energy policy. Consultancy Swiss consultancy Prognos has published a detailed and highly skeptical assessment of the coalition agreement between the conservative CDU-CSU alliance and the Social Democrats (SPD), including analyses of the effects on climate, energy, transport and regional policy. Prognos says climate and energy policy plans appear fragmented and incoherent, with aspects of energy transition policy scattered across various sections of the coalition agreement. The consultancy concedes that many important topics have been touched on in the paper, but central issues like Germany's phase-out of coal-fired power production were buried in the section on climate, and fall short of giving crucial details. The same goes for construction and the transport sector, Prognos says. Another shortcoming is the failure to highlight that the implementation of climate and efficiency measures has to be accelerated, if Germany is to honor its climate action pledges, the consultancy argues. The coalition treaty also failed to address sensitive issues concerning fundamental economic changes, such as the structural change awaiting coal mining regions at the end of fossil fuels in transport. To avoid addressing these ruptures due to fears over difficult negotiations is not helpful. The treaty is often marked by resounding silence on the decarbonization of industrial processes and is strangely vague and short on energy efficiency. Prognos energy policy expert Almut Kirchner says, substantial changes and effective tools will be necessary in almost all areas of the energy system if the climate targets are to be met. There are no simple solutions in sight and they should not be anticipated. Find the analysis on climate and energy policy in German here and further analyses on transport and regional policy in coal regions in German here. Find a Clue fact sheet on the coalition agreement here. Der Tagesspiegel. Germany has gambled away its energy transition. Lead Germany's energy when successes lie in the past and it's time to put the transition on a new footing, Jakob Schland writes in a leading article in Der Tagesspiegel. Greenhouse gas emissions have stagnated for years, and little or nothing has happened in the transport and building sectors. The Netherlands shows how it's done by heavily taxing large cars, Denmark by prohibiting the installation of new oil and gas heaters. Of course, that costs and hurts. But the energy wende will not happen if one rigidly clings to old habits, Schland writes. The next federal government must put the transmission back on track. From a success story to a major project in distress. And back is all we can hope for, Schland writes. For background, read CLEW's Germany's Energy Wende, The Easy Guide and the dossier The Next German Government and the Energy Transition. Die Welt. No economic basis for gigafactory. Battery manufacturers say so-called gigafactories for battery production won't be economically viable in Europe for years, Daniel Wetzel writes for Die Welt. The car industry must first agree on a standard, Christian Riedel, spokesperson of Johnson Controls, said at German Electrical and Electronic Manufacturers Association (ZVEI) event in Berlin. If the Association of the Automotive Industry (VDA) does not agree on cell technology, there will be no investment in major factories on greenfield land. Rainer Hald, chief technical officer at Varta, said, "There won't be a business case, as long as no customer from the auto industry is willing to commit to a technology." Read the article in German here. Read the Clue News Digest piece. Germany misses out on rise of battery cell production in Europe, and the dossier The Energy Wende and German car makers. For more information, less than previous article. Next article, you can sign up for our daily briefing, which includes a news digest and the latest on Clue, or for a weekly overview of our articles.